4 quotes to live by. The only way on earth to influence the other fellow is to talk about what he wants and show him how to get it. Begin in a friendly way. Make the other person feel important. You have to use showmanship. The movies do it, radio does it, and you will have to do it if you want attention. Dramatize your ideas.
My daddy always told me I had a face for radio.
And a guacamole dick.
It's evil! Don't touch it!
It's alive!
I was with you.
They're coming to get you. By the power of Christ.
This is
Me?
Hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Hello, Mr. Fitzpants. And Lindy's going to keep going with this fucking Manson shit we got going on. What do you guys, what's new with everybody?
This is the new shit. Oh, wrong Manson. Wrong Manson.
Charlie, another episode on Old Charles. Old Charles in charge.
Charlie.
Old Charles in charge.
You asked me what's going on, Matt, and I don't know. What's going on.
I don't rightly know.
I don't really know.
Goobly gobble.
I heard a stewardess scream on an airplane for the first time in my life. That was new.
I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah, we came in over Salt Lake and hit turbulence, and like it felt like we got into a car accident in the air almost. That's how hard we hit, and she wasn't sitting down, so stewardess screamed, and
Isn't that like roll one, keep everybody else calm? Well, if the stewardess is screaming, I'm losing my shit.
yeah.
Like, okay, well, that wasn't supposed to happen at all.
We're all gonna die! Yeah, I'd probably
I
shit
was
my
like-
pants.
I was like, oh great, I'm gonna die listening to reading a book on fucking Charles Manson.
I'd been searching for the inflatable raft to do some Indiana Jones shit.
What the way to go? Oh shit!
We're going to jump out of the airplane into the raft and ride the raft down through the snow-capped mountains until we hit the trees.
Get your bullets out!
Sorry, guys. I only have room for a good-looking blonde and a tiny Asian fella.
Dr. Jones!
No time for love.
Love, Dr. Jones. Fucking love that movie.
I do too. Well, we're already off on a tangent. Good luck, Lindy. This will
Yeah,
be fun.
that's all right. I am turning this into a 3-part because there's a lot of shit.
Uh-huh.
Literally shit.
Yeah, shit. And if everybody's ready,
Oh
we can
yeah.
start the shit talking.
Are you gonna do a little recap, or are you just going right in?
I am just gonna say that Charles Manson, unfortunately, is still going, and we were leaving Ashbury Height and headed to LA when we left off.
Okay.
So in LA, Charlie met with Stromberg at Universal Recording Studios, and Stromberg thought Charlie might have potential, and he set up a 3-hour recording session for him in the studio. The session was a disaster. Charlie wasn't used to the equipment or having engineers barking orders at him, and he's just used to sitting in a jail cell and playing the 3 strings that he knows, and people listen or they don't.
Sounds like you should have just recorded that album at Cell Block Records.
Yep.
Exactly. So
CB4.
Stromberg got
Trailer
nothing
Compton.
of use from the session at all. And Todd has something to say.
No, he said CB4, and all I see was Chris Rock hopping out of a Jeep.
Crazy motherfucker named Gusto. I believe.
Gusto.
So Charlie felt like Stromberg wasn't enlightened enough to understand his music, and he decided that he was going to find somebody who did.
That's why you don't like it. You just don't get it.
Yeah. He was not in for Charlie's personal brand of guruism. The girls were tired of feeling dirty, and they talked Charlie into finding a place to stay. They wound up at the Spiral Staircase, which was a place drifters could lodge temporarily. And here, Charlie
Is it like
met...
the Happy Time Motel or whatever the fuck that is from the Muppet movie? That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Happiness Hotel. Is that it?
Yeah.
It's Camelot.
There you go.
So at the Spiral Staircase, Charlie met Bobby Beausoleil, and they became...
The water boy?
Did you just say, "Hey, Franklin's not the devil, Mama. You are."
You are.
Oh,
She
shit.
showed me the movies and I like them too.
What Mama don't know won't hurt her. I'll show you my Roy Orbison tattoo.
Easy
So-
Fonz.
The Fonz.
So Bobby and Charlie actually became real friends, which was something Charlie didn't allow in his life because he only had friends. He only allowed people into his world for what they could give him. So they formed a band called, or not a band, a band called the Milky Way, and performed a few shows.
You sure it wasn't like the
That name's as bad as the fucking candy bar, dude.
Fuck you, Matt. I like Milky Way.
No one really likes a Milky Way.
I like Milky Way.
You'd take a Milky Way over a Snickers?
Yes, because I don't have teeth and I can't eat nuts.
Oh, you can eat these nuts. You keep disagreeing with me. So.
I might suck on them, but I won't eat them.
Fair enough.
All right, moving along.
So the band.
What about a
performed-
zero bar? Okay. All right.
Okay, the
That
band.
actually looks like a zero bar because it doesn't get a lot of sun. No, I was just waiting for her to start talking before I said more shit.
Meanwhile, back to
At
the
the
ranch.
ranch. That's coming up.
So the band.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they
Go,
performed.
go.
They performed a few shows, but after a little while, Bobby decided that he was going to hit the road on his own again. But the pair stayed in contact. Bobby also introduced Charlie to Gary Hinman, who was a music teacher, and he cooked and sold drugs.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he's a musician, so that makes sense.
You
Yeah.
gotta make money somehow, don't you?
You got to pay the bills somehow.
The group hung around the Spiral Staircase and Hinman's until December, and then Charlie decided that they needed to take off again. The girls were getting too used to luxuries like indoor plumbing and showers and that kind of stuff, and
Yeah,
Bobby
those
said,
luxuries.
Don't get too used to this indoor plumbing shit.
Don't
Okay,
get used to smelling
Don't get
good.
soft on me.
yeah. So
Good thing we
Hey.
live by the ocean.
they went to the Mojave Desert for a while, and then to Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. Susan got pregnant by someone in Arizona, and the group headed back to LA. They picked up 14-year-old Diane Lake with her parents' permission because she was part of another commune, so this wasn't out of the ordinary for them.
It's all
Diane
the
Lake,
LSD in the water, man. It screwed everybody up for a long time.
yeah.
Did they not mind the sun sometimes? Were they doing it down in Texas? This sounds like the Butthole Surfer song for
I know. Because the weather is dry.
Did some of them die in fiery auto crashes while they were sifting through their ashes?
I really wish that they had, because then the next part wouldn't happen. But 14-year-old Diane Lake became Charlie's favorite everything
Buddy.
for the next year. Yeah, his favorite everything.
She was closer to his size, I'm assuming. It's a little taller. Don't wear heels, bitch. Don't wear heels. It's for the screws.
Charlie continued to chase his dream of becoming a famous musician by pushing himself on people. Everyone sent him packing. Each time they did, he would beat Mary and threaten the others.
It's certainly her fault.
Yeah, it's all
Come
Mary's
here, you
fault.
get down on your knees and look down when I'm talking to you. Beat your ass.
Also, remember at
On your
this
knees
point,
and look down.
Here, buddy, you want my mixtape? It's the Milky Way. Tell 'em about it, Mary.
Charlie can't reach the tape deck.
also keep in mind that Mary was pregnant with his child at this point.
And of course, that's why you. Yeah.
1968 brought with it the attack on the American embassy in Saigon, a stalemate in Vietnam, over 130 race riots, and the assassination of MLK Jr.
So it was a great fucking year, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Pretty good sports cars, but other than that, I mean.
Yeah.
It also brought Charlie new recruits. Charlie preferred being around men. Sorry, he felt he could let his guard down more with them. And 18-year-old Paul Watkins soon joined the group and proved to be instrumental. He had a boyish charm that broke down tougher women, and Charlie was super demanding on female recruits, but not males.
So what you're saying
It's
is,
because he'd get his ass whipped.
man, I really like tacos, but you can't eat tacos, every night, So sometimes you gotta have a hot dog. That's what I'm saying.
Does he get those memories from being in the pen back?
Probably.
I'm going to bring up the movie I brought up last time. It's like, you ever been in the shower, see the suds roll down a man's ass crack, and you just be like, those were jokes.
Unless Matt's telling them.
So for men to join the group, they just needed to have some mechanic know-how. But for women, Charlie would isolate himself with them and break them mentally and sexually. He would quiz them about their lives exhaustively, and he would spin a web that would bind them to him by telling them and making them believe that everything that had happened was the fault of the people in their lives.
Is the name of this book Charlie's Web?
Yeah. Well, he's got it down.
How do you get a spider to spell goobly goobly?
He would tell them that he would love them for exactly who they were.
Unless he
That's
doesn't get
how
a
he was
record contract, then he'll beat shit out of you for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, when he was done getting them to believe that they were, perfect, Charlie would demand a blowjob. And
Naturally.
yeah, and if the women wouldn't perform something so simple, he would just kick them out.
It's not like I'm asking you for something big. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal.
Once he was able to get the blowjob from them, then he would indulge his varied appetites on them. Charlie summoned Ruth Ann. You remember teenager Ruth Ann, who he took with him and made her get married.
Yes.
He summoned her back, and she left her husband to join him. She became super instrumental in everything.
Charlie's plan to take over the world.
Exactly. Charlie began encouraging people to change their names frequently. Girls were sent out to panhandle, and recruiters were sent to find potential converts who hopefully had a few dollars in their pocket. Charlie believed,
I got one hand in my pocket, and the other one is giving a hand job.
Nailed it.
I'm sorry. I'm going to shut the fuck up for a minute. Go ahead.
That's a music episode. We can talk about it. It's fine.
Yeah. So Charlie had this super original belief that the proper role of a woman was being in the service and gratification of men. So
Where'd you
it
get
felt
that?
I know, right?
God.
And you wonder why you're single.
I don't wonder. I don't wonder.
He knows.
There is no wonder on this, okay? None at all. I know. I understand.
Why?
So naturally, with his feelings and beliefs being that, it fell to the girls to scrounge supermarket trash bins for food, or they would flirt with stock boys who, for a kiss, cuddle, blowjob, or fuck, would give them fresh food.
I'm guessing kiss and cuddle are right the fuck out.
What,
That was just probably just mentioned.
you need some peanut butter and jelly and some bread? Shit, I got you, baby.
What I want to know is, what do I get for like a bag of Tostitos pizza? That's what I want to know. What are those worth?
They didn't have Tostitos pizza rolls back then.
Yeah, but
God damn it!
All you get
Yeah,
is
they should've-
Geno's. You get Geno's.
I better get all three of you for a bag of Tostitos.
At the same time.
Gobble gobble.
Dinners were taken as a group, but the women had to prepare, serve, and clean up afterwards.
Naturally.
Yeah. After dinner, there were group
This is so
sessions.
awful. It's not as if they were coming home from a rough day of work or anything. Even go out and make us money, then come home and cook a shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what this problem is. After you get stuff cleaned up, you can come back and blow me.
And while you're in there,
You don't know how, you don't know how hard my life is. I wrote these shitty songs all day today.
really takes it out of me.
Yeah. Mhm. After dinner, there were group sessions.
Bet there were.
Sometimes they were just music sessions. Sometimes they were LSD sessions. And sometimes they were sex sessions.
Boinky, boinky, boinky.
Yeah.
The
I bet a
sex
lot of
se-
times they were all three.
the sex sessions had to take place in a specific room that they set up just for the group sex activities. So there was
The dungeon.
And to your left through that door, that is that's the fornication room where we had the mass orgies in that room right there.
There is so much incense burning in there. It's fucking preposterous.
It's the cover up the smell of poo.
I was getting some Rock Terrio vibes here.
So Kaufman, and just a recap for everybody who doesn't remember who Kaufman was, he was in jail the last time with Charlie, and he was
the
who
Universal Music Code,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yes, he was the one who gave him that name. Kaufman was released from jail, and he came to stay with Charlie. He planned to get back into show business and felt he could get Charlie some new contacts. But after about 5 weeks, Charlie decided Kaufman had to go. He hadn't produced the right kind of contacts, and he frequently disagreed with Charlie in front of the group. That was something Charlie just couldn't have.
No,
In other
no.
words,
That's
Kaufman
no.
had a bigger dick, and the girls liked him more.
Charlie was able to use the events of the year to strengthen his hold on his followers and recruit new ones. He converted Sandy Good in April, which was super nice for them because she received a $200 trust check each month. Mary delivered a baby boy in April. Charlie forced her to do this at home in the care of the other girls who had no fucking clue what they were doing. And after an extremely close call on Mary's life and the baby's life, both survived.
Can you imagine that? He's like, oh my God, it's my number! Ah! Quick, grab it! Oh my God, it's gross! It's so slippery! Ah!
Two of them got to go to the other room to catch their breath.
The baby's official name was Michael Manson, but he was called Pooh Bear. Everyone in the group
What's
was
his middle name? Marilyn?
Mm-hmm.
Should have been.
Should have been.
Should have been.
Both their
Everyone
music sucks.
Michael Myers. I'd go for Michael Myers too.
Michael Myers Manson.
Yeah.
Not bad.
So Charlie believed that it was the parents' fault biological parents' fault why children ended up so fucked up. So instead of babies being born and being cared for by their biological parents, everyone in the group was equally father and mother to every child.
Let's kind of go back on that. Rock Terrio kind of touched on that a bit too, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, you're not supposed to show him any love, only I can, but he wouldn't, kind of deal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They will grow up slaves,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Mm-hmm.
After Pooh Bear's birth, the group went to Ventura County on a camping trip. Charlie didn't want the group getting too comfortable with household conveniences again, so
Rock Terrio.
he just kept up and leaving. But on this trip, deputies arrested Charlie, Susan, and a couple others for using fake IDs, and he arrested Mary for breastfeeding Pooh Bear in public.
I just want to hear the cop going, "Excuse me, sir, it says here on your ID that you're 5'5", and there ain't no fucking way in hell that's true."
Don't make fun of the wee leprechaun.
The charges that they were picked up on didn't stick this time, and they kind of weren't meant to. It was more of a way to send the ragamuffin group packing from where they were.
Scare them off, maybe.
Yeah. It didn't really work that way. The group moved on, and they found a spot northwest of LA owned by George Spahn.
Oh, yeah.
The group stayed at the ranch for a little bit and then went back to LA to continue the quest for a record deal. The group was up to about 20 members at this point, so Charlie started tasking the prettier girls to go out to the strip to try and find established stars to listen to Charlie's music. Pat and Yeller went hitchhiking and were picked up by this really gorgeous surfer breeze style, perfectly tanned, hunky guy. But you can't guess who it was.
Oh, I know.
I do too.
Todd?
It was Dennis
doing that
Wilson.
He's
Yeah.
doing the thing.
We get around, Todd. Round, get around. We get around.
I get around.
It was
That's what I
Dennis Wilson, the drummer for the Beach Boys. Wilson offered the girls a lift to where they were going.
Was he in a little his coupe?
I think it was in something like that.
You don't know what I got.
Before he was willing to take them, well, not willing, but before he took them to where they were supposed to be going, Wilson suggested they stop by his place first for some milk and cookies.
Yeah. That's code for things.
What's fucked up is that the girls did join Dennis at his cabin, and they really did have milk and cookies.
God, how high was he? So high.
You look like an awesome girl. Maybe we should. You like chocolate chip?
I feel like that's something that I would need to do in my lifetime now. Hey, baby. Welcome back to my place for some milk and cookies.
He just had it on his mind. He was like, I need a snack, but I got cotton mouth too. Milk and cookies. I'm gonna hold those shits in there till they're about falling apart before I put them in my mouth.
So the girls had no idea who Dennis was. And they hung out with him for a while before he actually
They were Jan and Dean fans, that's why.
Mm-hmm. He had to take off for an appointment, so he actually wasn't able to give the girls a ride to where they were going. So the girls just ended up hitchhiking away from his cabin. And when they got back to where Charlie was, they told Charlie who they had been with, and he knew who Wilson was. So Charlie ordered the girls to take everyone to the cabin. So they loaded up that stupid-ass school bus that everybody got into. And they
the love shuttle
bus. Should have been a shuttle bus.
And they went back to Wilson's cabin. And when Wilson got home, well after midnight, Charlie came walking out of his back door, basically like he was the proprietor of the property. And Wilson was a little put off by it. And he was like, "Whoa, are you going to hurt me, man?" And Charlie was like, "Do I look like I'm going to hurt you?"
No.
Wilson
he thought he was a long gnome at first. He's like, "Why is that thing moving?"
So Wilson was still a little like What the fuck are you doing in my house? But Charlie dropped to the ground and kissed Wilson's feet. Dennis
It wasn't far for him to go to reach.
No,
You could probably just bend over and do it.
been at the knees
Yeah.
a little bit.
So Dennis liked that Charlie had girls who were willing to do anything he wanted sexually.
Anything?
Anything. And he...
Oh, so, okay.
So your beach scene? Yeah, I mean, they might have been a little bit more frumpy than your girls, but it totally would have happened.
Yeah.
Wilson really liked some of Charlie's ideals, and he felt that Charlie had wisdom that needed to be shared. So Wilson introduced Charlie to Greg Jacobson, and Jacobson developed a thing for Ruth Ann, and he agreed to listen to some of Charlie's music. Now, Jacobson was the second in command for Terry Melcher. So Greg Jacobson was basically like the talent scout for Melcher.
And Melcher, I don't know if we mentioned this. Did we mention this before?
Not yet.
Okay, I'm going to shut up then.
No, you're okay. So Terry Melcher was actually the biggest record producer in LA at the time. So to be second in command to anything that had to do with the Melcher name was huge.
Right.
He helped produce an album for this little band that was not known well at the time called The Birds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was Melcher actually who made them famous.
Yeah.
So Wilson arranged a meeting for Charlie at Brother Records, which was actually the Beach Boys recording studio.
Label. They had their own label, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the other brothers weren't impressed. So Wilson continued to sponsor Charlie and let him and the girls have free reign of his house. Charlie met Neil Young at Wilson's and was able to impress him. And enough for Young to suggest Charlie to Warner Brothers Records, but nothing came of that either. Charlie figured out he needed to get to somebody higher up than the rock stars themselves, so he needed to befriend a producer. Unfortunately for Charlie, Wilson happened to be close friends with Terry Melcher. Melcher, though, didn't
Wasn't
have
a
a good
fan?
feeling. No, he didn't have a good feeling about Charlie. He didn't like that he walked around like barefoot and gross, and that he could
Smelled
command
like
all of
shit,
these girls.
and,
Yeah,
he was 3'3". It's gonna work out well.
He's gonna be 14 inches tall by the time we're done with this.
yeah. So Melcher kept Charlie at a distance. He didn't feel like Charlie's music would bring any money to his label, and he'd let Charlie tag along when Melcher, Wilson, and Jacobson went and did stuff, but Charlie was never invited to. Like, Melcher had these massive parties. So Melcher was also dating Candace Bergen.
Ooh.
And the two of them would have these huge parties at his house, and it was really hard to actually get into these parties. It was super exclusive. And it pissed Charlie off all the time that he never got an invitation. So he was actually never allowed past the gate at Melcher's house on Cielo Drive.
I have heard some of Charlie's music that was recorded. It isn't terrible. I think it's got more to do the fact that he just probably wouldn't shut the fuck up or leave him alone. He was probably like a chihuahua barking at their heels every fucking where they went, just like trying to get words in here and there. And
he was a little shorter than a chihuahua, but
he hit himself in their shirt pocket and wouldn't leave him alone. He actually was the devil on their shoulder.
Yeah, he did that to Wilson and he did that to Jacobson, but he knew better than to do that to Melcher. Because he knew if he did it to Melcher,
that's it.
He was fucked. That was it. You couldn't. If Melcher said, you know what, fuck you, fuck all of this, like, no, then nobody was going to touch you.
Right.
So, Wilson kept working on his brothers, and Jacobson was able to book a quick recording session for Charlie in Vanoy, which put tapes in Charlie's hands to pass out. And then, for some reason, Wilson had been hitchhiking, and a young man named Charles Watson picked him up. And Watson accompanied Wilson back to Wilson's house. And
Mr. Wilson!
Yeah.
Sorry, that was
Had to do it.
So Wilson was actually a very handsome young man. He was from Texas, so he had that drawl, and the girls in the family, the group, we're not at the family yet, the girls in the group kind of fell in love with him, and they gave him the nickname Tex.
Was he like, hey, got any weed, man?
Yes.
No? It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Yep.
That's the thing I like about these Manson girls, man. I keep getting older and they stay the same stank, man. I mean,
they keep taking showers, but they keep smelling the same way. Yes, they do.
Y'all been washing in the ocean, ain't you?
This guy's not a psychopath at all.
Never gonna get the smell out of them fish.
Fish again for dinner? Oh shit!
I feel bad for the fish.
So Watson was given the nickname Tex, and he was added to this group, which he actually started referring to.
Because Charlie didn't want to be like, "Hi, I'm Charlie. This is my other brother, Charlie." You didn't want to pull one of those.
No. But it was Tex who actually gave the group the nickname The Family. So this is where the family came into play. From Wilson's house, they were also able to obtain a young man named Brooks Potson. Charlie needed to shake things up, so...
Brooks Potson, Tex Watson.
We have a rap song here in a minute.
Yeah, pretty quick.
Underlay, mama.
So Charlie needed to shake things up, and at the end of May, he sent Susan to lead some others to find a suitable permanent home. Susan took Pat, Yeller, Mary, and Pooh Bear with her. They rented a place in Philo, but that didn't last long. The girls were used to living the way that they were used to living, and they started giving underage kids drugs.
Oh.
And the moms were pissed and called the cops, and the cops
You'll have that.
were able to actually get one of the kids while he was high as fuck to tell them where he had gotten the drugs. So all of the ladies that had been sent on this mission were taken into custody.
All the shitty ladies. All the shitty ladies. All the shitty ladies.
And Pooh Bear was taken to foster care.
They found him with his head stuck in a honey. Okay.
So Charlie wasn't able to leave LA at this point because he was working on Wilson and Jacobson. So he was able to contact Beausoleil, and he asked him to go rescue the group. And Beausoleil agreed. He was out with 3 girls driving the coast anyway, so it wasn't a big thing for him. But Charlie and he decided that they needed to meet in person to go over the rescue plan. 2 of the girls who had been with Beausoleil when he was with the family, one was his girlfriend. Her name was Gail. And then there was another one that the family had actually tried to convert to them, and they called her Gypsy because she fit in with the family. Gail didn't, but Gypsy did. And Gypsy, when Beausoleil and Gail left, she ended up actually leaving and going with Beausoleil anyway. But they had picked up a 3rd girl, and that was Leslie Van Houten.
Nice little German girl.
He got a huge banger.
When Beausoleil had been contacted by Charlie to come over so that they could discuss the rescue mission, Gypsy had already been thinking about going back to him. And she wanted Leslie to join her. Beausoleil and his girlfriend Gail fought a lot, and the other two didn't want to drift around with them anymore. So,
You guys are squares, man.
yeah.
L7, man.
Beausoleil took everyone to the ranch to discuss the rescue in person, and the rescue never ended up happening because the group was actually sentenced before they could do anything about it, and they served time. But when Mary got out, Pooh Bear was able to be collected and brought back.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, at least they saved that kid. Wait, no, they didn't.
No.
Mm-hmm. Charlie wore out his welcome with Wilson.
No.
He had...
Didn't see that one coming.
Did he steal his Lucky Charms?
No, but he stole his really fucking expensive car. Charlie and the group were helping themselves to anything in the fridge. They were running up water bills. They were taking Dennis's clothes. They were taking things from the house. They were causing fines and things like that that Brothers Records was having to pay for. And they took his Rolls Royce and fucking totaled it.
No trial. Straight to death.
Yeah. So then Wilson really enjoyed, having sex with all of the girls that he wanted to at Brando.
He also really enjoyed the Rolls Royce.
He also really enjoyed the Rolls Royce. But Wilson also had other girls that he would bring over to the house.
Well, yeah. He had a Rolls.
Yeah. So there was this one girl that Wilson brought over, and Charlie, he brought her over a few times, and Charlie was trying to get her to convert, and she wouldn't. And she wouldn't participate in the group sex activities, but she also wouldn't participate in having sex with Charlie alone.
That bitch.
The power of Charles compels you. The power of Charles compels you.
Charlie threatened her with a knife to her throat. And the girl was like, she called his bluff, and she was like, you know what? Fucking do it. If you're big enough, do it.
That's not true. I was going to say.
Wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. This was so close, but not quite what pushed Dennis over the edge.
He had to two-hand an X-Acto knife.
So, because Charlie had also threatened Dennis with a knife a few times too. Dennis just knew, he didn't feel like Charlie was actually violent. He didn't feel like anything was really going to happen of this.
Damn, this dude was so high all the time. He had to be.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So Dennis felt obligated to Charlie because he had told Charlie, like, listen, I'm going to get you signed, or I'm going to get you some recording time or something. So finally, Wilson was able to get Charlie some recording time at Brothers Records and fulfill his only obligation to Charlie. Well, Charlie fucked that up as well.
Yeah, yeah.
He pulled a knife on the producer when the producer told him that his time was up. Out of the whole, it was like a 3-day recording session, and out of that time, the only song that came out that was even usable in any way, shape, or form was
Look at your game, girl.
It was called Cease to Exist.
Oh, he did another one later then, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking it was called Bass Boat, but okay.
Shameless self-promotion.
Well, he's talking about fish a lot in this one, really. So.
Yeah.
So at this point, Charlie's got this song. Wilson's listened to it. He feels like that one might just maybe be usable. He may be able to win over the other brothers with that, but he's not sure because Charlie has really gotten on everybody's nerves. And Wilson sat down and started adding up everything that in this summer period that the family had cost him. And it was about $100,000.
Easily, if they wrecked the fucking car.
I was going to say that's a more expensive candy bar than a Zero bar.
Yes, it is.
Well, Wilson, he didn't want to cause rifts with Charlie because now he's got this song that he might be able to use, and Wilson's Wilson, and he really enjoyed just that free sex that he was getting from the girls.
God, it must have been so good. What in the hell is going?
Charlie, God rest his soul, is a fucking prick. God rest his soul. But he's got these women, you see, scarlet little whores that I'd really like to fuck him. God rest his soul.
So the lease on the cabin that Wilson was renting was just about up, and Wilson decided that he was just going to pack what was important to him real quiet, like he was going to go rent another place, and he didn't tell anybody where he was going.
It's because he gets around, gets around, he gets around.
Yeah. Good call, actually. Yes, very
that was
City,
that cabin.
Here we come.
Yeah.
I bet that was somebody else's idea. Don't tell them. What do you mean don't tell them? Dude,
Just don't.
Just don't. How about no? How about no?
That was Roy Rogers' cabin, I think, right? That he was renting.
It actually doesn't say that anywhere that I read, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, in the one of the books that I read, I think he was renting Roy Rogers' cabin.
Okay.
Crazy.
Boy, that Roy sure got around.
Mm-hmm.
The landlord of the house. The landlord of the house showed up when Wilson's lease was up, and he kicked the family out. And then the family just decided that they were going to make the move to Spahn Ranch. Charlie had made a deal with George Spahn that his group would clean the ranch and help the ranch hands as needed. And Charlie sweetened the deal by placing Lynn in Spahn's home as his housekeeper and sex partner.
Yes.
You think she spit on it first?
Mm-hmm.
It was either one of these or a boy, one of the two. Spahn would give Lynn little pinches, and she would respond to him by letting out these squeals. So Spahn started calling her Squeaky, and it stuck.
I heard those squeaks came from something else. Seriously, well, she would make high pitched noises while she was getting fucked. So,
yeah, well, that could have been why it stuck with the family, but that's not why.
Okay, all right.
Spahn started.
Really, it's the dolphins.
Tex was put to work repairing shacks and extending structures because at Spahn Ranch, now it was the movie studio where you would see a lot of the Western movies from that time. But a lot of them were just like the storefronts. They weren't completely finished.
When does Brad Pitt show up here?
It's like when they rebuilt Rock Ridge and Blazing Saddles, or it's just the fronts of the stores.
Yeah. So Tex, he repaired the shacks and then he extended all of those structures to actually make them whole buildings. And then the rest of the family cleaned sets and stalls, and they ended up basically pushing the ranch hands out. So they were the only ones there to do anything on the property.
Yeah. Go on now. Get out here. Go. Yeah.
So they were doing this, and obviously the girls still had to go out and panhandle and do all of this stuff. And at the same time, they were recruiting people because Gypsy's now kind of back with the group, and she's Charlie's biggest recruiter because she's pretty good looking. And this guy in this car drove past her, and she waved to him, and she had all of this hair under her arm, and it was super sexy to him. So she jumped in the car, and it turned out to be Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
sweet.
So
yeah,
and that's total bullshit if you haven't seen.
I like that version better.
Actually, I like that version a lot better too.
Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's fucking great.
Holy shit, she's seen a movie.
See, finally.
Charlie would spend hours preaching to the group here because they could go out anywhere they wanted to, and they could do the LSD trips anywhere they wanted to, and there were all of these mountainous areas and that kind of stuff. So they just went to different areas all over this ranch all of the time to get to new spiritual heights.
Somebody poisoned the water hole.
Yeah. And then
there's a snake in my boots.
While he was
Ride
out,
like the wind, Bullseye. I just kept waiting for it to start.
You guys.
All right.
While they were at Spawn Ranch, Charlie decided on a new rule, which was that the women of the family were no longer allowed to carry any money whatsoever. They couldn't even hold onto a penny. So when they were out panhandling, now men had to go with them. And as soon as they were given anything, they had to turn around and hand it to the guy.
They were irresponsible with the funds.
Pimping ain't easy.
I think it was more of he knew that there was a possibility that if they got enough money in their possession, they could bail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Charlie was still recruiting new members, and soon Gypsy and Leslie showed up at the ranch, and this time they were going to stay for good. Initially, Charlie wanted to turn them away because they were Beausoleil's girls, and he didn't want to cause a rift there because Beausoleil still did quite a bit for the family. Even though he wasn't a full-time member and he and Charlie argued, Beausoleil was still pretty useful. But Leslie was attractive, and she also knew shorthand. So her job was...
when you're a short man, you need that shorthand.
You need a shorthand.
Get them short job done, if you know what I'm
saying.
Her job was to follow Charlie around and write down song lyrics and any sounds that he made. Exactly.
She'd probably get beat when he couldn't understand what the fuck it was coming out of his own mouth, and she was trying to write it down.
No, bitch. Blah, 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 blah. Starts with a fucking W. God damn it. What's this trash?
Charlie expected his followers to stop what they were doing because now remember he's
about to
reincarnate.
Well, yeah, of course he is.
The everyday style
that you're used
to.
Yeah.
So they had to stop whatever they were doing when they saw him, and they had to pay attention to him.
Did they collaborate and listen?
They tried, because he required them to flawlessly imitate what he was doing. And if they couldn't, they were firmly chastised.
Red light, green light?
But Charlie was also super good at knowing when someone was about to break. And he would go to those people who were at their wits' end and starting to think that Charlie wasn't, the greatest of people. And he would do one-on-ones with them. And he would do Charlie things, and he would get them back to loving him all over again.
You see, because I'm an angel, and you need to listen to me because I'm a fucking angel, man.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm only hard on you because you're better than all the others, and I think you need to set an example for them because the rest of them are pieces of shit. That's why I'm hard on you. Some bullshit like that, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this next line, and then I'm just going to lift up my microphone for a minute because...
Uh-oh.
This is real. Susan delivered her baby in October of that year, and the baby's name is Z-Z-C Zadbrick.
How's that again? What?
Z-Z-C Zadbrick.
That's what something Charlie said as a song lyric. They were like, "Oh, I feel that. Write that one down." Yeah.
She just felt like that would be a good name. Just so this kid had
so 1, 2, 3, fucking 4, high on drugs.
5. He had 5 names.
I'm high. Let's drop a spoon and see what happens with a baby name.
Lots of Z's.
Like Pooh Bear, Z-Z was parented by all full members.
Did he have a nickname or just
crazy motherfucking name?
Zizo Z. Zizo Z.
Yeah, you know me.
Straight out of Spider-Man.
Nicely played.
I'm Zizo Z.
Oh my goodness.
All of the female members wanted to be pregnant with Charlie's baby. However,
it's a good idea.
Yeah, Pooh Bear was his only child born to the family. Charlie did, however, encourage pregnancy. He just thought, well, we need to make our own.
Where are all these kids living?
With them? Yeah.
I think they were treated better than they were at the old Anthill Kids compound.
Yeah.
Plus, most of them could kick Charlie's ass by the time they were like 2.5, 3 years old.
Like literally, I mean, their feet would go that high because he was a wee leprechaun.
Sandy Good was the next one to get pregnant. She actually got pregnant from another member of the family. And
was old Tex pouring the coals?
No, I didn't write down this guy's name, so I'm not sure if they didn't say it or...
He doesn't matter. Move along.
He didn't matter.
Sperm donor.
Irrelevant.
She also lied and said that they were married so that she could get welfare, which benefited the family. Because, Charlie hated all of the norms of marriage and this and blah, 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 and government and all of this. He sure should appreciated their money.
Yeah, he hated when other people took welfare too, but he was okay with taking a little of himself because it wasn't actually him taking it. So these bitches I take care of got to take welfare, so I guess I'll take a cut of that because you're not allowed to hold any money.
Exactly. Charlie didn't allow...
This makes me so angry.
He was a real stand-up guy, but you couldn't tell he was standing up.
He was sitting down talking to us, and then he stood up, and we couldn't even fucking tell the difference. He has to be Jesus.
Like he was floating.
He was just levitating there, I swear to God.
Charlie didn't allow calendars, watches, or clocks. He felt that everybody should be in the know, or not in the know, in the now, and they shouldn't be reliant on gadgets for what the truth was.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't allow glasses, like reading glasses, like prescription glasses, because they weren't natural. And you were put on this earth the way that you were supposed to be.
Charlie, I'm pretty sure anal sex is not natural either, but you partake in that as well.
It's like,
that don't make no babies. We need the babies.
You son bitches five to be this short that you can't see.
As soon as anyone was permitted, or as soon as anyone requested to join the group, the family, glasses were taken.
Wow.
A lot of people developed like squints and that kind of stuff and were permanent.
Charlie's like, ain't I better looking now?
You can't handle the truth. You can't see the truth, man.
Charlie also didn't allow books, except he himself had a copy of the Bible.
So that they could get what he took from it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Way to go.
As a show that authors were bullshit and fucking liars and pushing an agenda, Charlie would often just burn books.
You got that from Mein Kampf.
He's a real Zig-Heil motherfucker.
Yes, he is.
He's an equal opportunity offender.
He hates everybody.
He just takes what he wants from everybody, throws the rest away, and says, "Fuck you, you're wrong." Yep. But that's mine. No, fuck you. That's mine. You're wrong.
I told you. Now here, put this in your mouth and chill out.
Pretty soon, there were so many rules that Charlie started to contradict himself quite often.
No.
Right?
You said
didn't see it coming.
Like he hasn't been doing it the whole fucking time already.
Well, he did it enough.
You mean
now
to tell me
that
those bitches
other
wasn't
people noticed.
Those bitches wasn't writing everything down that I told them and making sure that they kept me on track? Time to be a bitch.
Yep.
New rule, people. Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
The biggest ones that people started to notice was Charlie hated Jews. He preached that they were evil.
Shocker. Didn't see
And-
it coming.
But
You know, I really, really like this guy up until this point. But this
Right.
is the fucking straw right here.
but he presented himself as Jesus reincarnate. So how the fuck could he hate Jews and be Jesus?
Well,
Haven't
you're
you heard
trying
about
to
this new group, Jews Against Jesus.
Lindy, you're trying to put, common sense into this, so just leave that out. Just leave that part out.
I just want a T-shirt that says JAJ.
Oh,
Another major one that people started to notice
by the
was
way,
during
Jews are all against Jesus. Okay, they don't believe in the New Testament. Let's go.
Well, they believe in all of it, but the him coming back part.
Except for the
you
Jews.
know what? You know what Jews and
Jews for
Hitler
Jesus.
have in common, right?
We know, yes. Lindy, what's the next part?
another major thing that people started to notice was that during the LSD sessions, which remember these were supposed to be explorations to the outer reaches of your mind. You were supposed to be free, you were supposed to explore, you were supposed to do all of these things. Charlie started setting people down where he wanted them to be, and newcomers to LSD frequently move, or if you're given a higher dose,
I like to move it.
Exactly. So if they weren't able to
Give
stay,
him 100% of their attention.
if they weren't able to stay where Charlie placed them and they moved without his permission, he would hit them like with their fist, or he would pick up a fucking chair and
Chair shots.
You're gonna stay right there, man. I'm gonna dot your eye. I swear to God, I will, because I'm God. I swear to me. I swear to me.
It wasn't a heavy chair. I mean, let's be honest.
And it wasn't a really tall chair either.
It was a high chair.
It was
Sold
a
off.
stool. It was a stool.
There you go. Yeah.
He'd stool them.
It was a toadstool. He perched himself on to breathe.
Don't look over there. That's where I keep me pots of gold. Look right there.
Charlie would explain that if he seemed to be violating his own philosophy, that just meant the followers weren't smart enough yet to understand what was going on. And
that old Jim. Okay.
And finding something that appeared to be a flaw of his was really a flaw in themselves.
Well, he's got the bases covered, doesn't he?
The group accepted that they were stupid, and the beatings and teachings were Charlie's gift to them.
I accept it and believe it too now. Because, yes, you were stupid. So stupid.
Jesus.
Okay.
I mean, JC, man. That's what you call me. You call me JC.
Wilson, unable to stay the fuck away.
He's all the free poon, man.
Yeah, you like, hey. It's like Poon Tangeray, man.
He showed up at the ranch. He genuinely liked some of the family.
I bet he did.
He loved rolling around in the hay with the girls.
There you go.
He told Charlie that the Beach Boys planned on recording Cease to Exist. Charlie thought for sure that he was going to make it because Melcher actually showed up to the ranch also. But Melcher showed up because he really liked Ruth Ann. Jacobson also started.
I know how this cover goes.
Ranch. Yeah. Jacobson also started coming to the ranch because.
And coming at the ranch.
Yeah. But Jacobson felt Charlie was marketable, just as they wanted to do a documentary on him and the family. So that's how he felt that they were marketable. He didn't believe in Charlie's music. But he wanted to get a film crew out there, and Charlie just didn't want it.
That dude saw gold.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's a wee leprechaun. He's got a pot on it. Yeah.
Fuck. Walked right into that shit. Damn it.
To get the drugs, the LSD, the weed, that kind of stuff, Charlie allowed bikers to drop by the ranch, and like they would help him fix motorcycles and do that kind of stuff, and they would hang out with the girls. But
it basically boiled down to everybody fucked his girls like all the time. That's how he got things. So yeah, he didn't lift a finger for nothing at Rock Area.
Yeah.
I want to make a. You got Jim Jones and the whole don't drink the Kool-Aid shit, but yet, man, that Poontang right?
Get you.
That is yeah.
I'm not gonna forget that one.
That's a potent. That's a potent punch, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah.
It'll really get you.
Now a new fish flavor.
Charlie actually didn't really like the bikers hanging around because they drank. They drank alcohol. And Charlie didn't allow alcohol because it wasn't a free spirit drug. It was a violence-causing addiction, basically.
It's from the guy who beats women when he can't write a song.
Yeah, I think we've hit the first episode where Lindy's like, seriously, like, just shut the fuck up.
Okay.
No, you guys did what I asked. We're at an hour, and I still have like 3 pages left to go. So perfect.
All right.
Sex with outsiders became a daily thing for the girls. Charlie would force them to line up and then go with the guy and do whatever the guy wanted. If the girls refused anything that was asked, Charlie would punish them by making them strip naked in front of the family, and then he would ridicule them.
You got little titties. You got a hairy bush.
Rock.
You got a flat ass. Look at them cankles. You got knobby knees. But I like them eyes, bro. You got pretty eyes.
Next.
Charlie's song Cease to Exist was morphed into Dennis Wilson taking full credit for what he turned into Never Learn Not to Love. So that was what the Beach Boys turned that song into.
Never learn not to love?
Yeah.
Okay.
Charlie didn't really know that this had happened, and currently he had a fuck ton of other problems because the family were doing things that Charlie hadn't authorized. Susan was taking off with the bikers, and girls were inviting bikers to stay the night with them. There was one guy who had stayed the night with Leslie. Charlie ran him off, and the next day that guy showed back up with a group of other bikers, and they tried to get Leslie to leave, which, had she left, would have caused this huge fucking spectacle for Charlie.
Charlie ran him off? Did he have a weapon? Did Charlie have a weapon?
I don't know.
Are these mini bikers?
I don't
Was this like a...
They'd have to be like fucking super mini bikers.
Or was this like a biker gang of like, I'm just going to say it, midgets? Were they midgets? Midget biker gang? And this girl was apparently into shorter men. I mean, she's with Charlie, so...
The biker gang was called the Leprechauns, but it was cons at the end. It was kind of fascinating.
Lepra, C-O-N-S, cons. Nice.
It became clear to Charlie that he needed to isolate the family even more, and he needed a new location. And fortunately for him, he had one in mind. There was a ranch in Death Valley that was called Grandma's Place, and it was hard to reach even by car. There was, I think, one resident per 2 miles in this town, and there wasn't a grocery store. There was just a general store. It was this
closest like civilization was Las Vegas, right?
Las Vegas, yes. So he sent a group of people to go out there and scout that ranch and make sure that it was everything that he wanted. And when it was, he was able to convince the owner, Arlene Barker.
This is fucking great.
to allow the family to move there by telling her he was an important musician who needed the solitude, and he gave her a gold record that he had stolen from Dennis Wilson's house.
What an asshole.
It was a Beach Boys gold record.
Yeah.
A few members of the family were asked to stay behind at Spawn Ranch, and at the new ranch, Grandma's place, the family that had gone there with Charlie were complaining of the new conditions. It was fucking hot. There wasn't enough food. There wasn't any sort of
It's the
amenity.
desert.
These goddamn kids won't quit crying.
Yeah, but
He just made sure he got it far enough away that they wasn't going to be able to escape him and survive whichever direction they head off in. It's just
This place had like a wood burning stove.
Exactly.
So if they wanted to cook, then they had to go out and chop wood first.
Exactly. But they couldn't cook. We'll get into that in just a second.
Cooking's the devil.
Charlie was able to shut down their complaints by informing them that the outside world was about to get really bad. And during LSD trips, he would tell them about a hole at the property that led to wonderful tunnels that would allow travel to anywhere on Earth.
There's a hole. There's a hole. There's a hole in the bottom of the
world.
Death Valley? I don't know.
Charlie?
Is this where the lizards came in? Is this where the spitting lizards came in?
Transportation to anywhere.
Whoa, wait, whoa. Wrong holes. Wrong
holes. Yeah.
Charlie hadn't anticipated certain troubles with the new living conditions. Food was hard to come by here, where the girls had been able to go out and panhandle before and dumpster dive. They couldn't. There was just the general store that didn't get shit for anything. There was no fresh foods. There was nothing.
Just a geographic anomaly. 2 weeks from everywhere.
So he either had to drive...
I'm a dapper damn man, damn it.
He either had to find a way to get the girls into town so that they could go and scavenge enough food to get them by for a few days, which was difficult because you need money for gas to get anywhere, or he had to come up with money to pay for actual food supplied by the general store. So he started to allow the girls, a couple of the girls, just the ones that he trusted, to go panhandle around Vegas. But that wasn't going to work for him either, because what's Vegas? A hotbed of temptation, right? So drugs were also in short supply. Charlie decided that he fucked up here and he really needed to get the family back to Spawn Ranch. But in order to not contradict himself on this, after he had just gotten the family to shut up about all of their complaints, he needed a reason. He couldn't just go back on his decision and reverse this, or else he was going to look like a fool.
Right.
Dennis Wilson provided that reason. In November, Wilson showed up at Barker Ranch to tell Charlie about the song and get him back to LA so that they could hopefully maybe start collaborating on other music. Squeaky asked George if the family could come back to Spawn Ranch, and he said no. So Charlie had to rent a house for the time being. At this time, Charlie got deep into the Book of Revelations, and the Beatles released the White Album.
Which was
Did they not live in? It's a great album. Yeah. Did they not living out on this ranch turn VW bugs into like dune buggies?
It's coming up.
Please.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
The songs Helter Skelter, Piggies, Blackbird, Revolution 1, and Revolution 9 were the songs that basically formed Charlie's beliefs from here on out. This was how he took the Book of Revelations and the world and spun them into this web that, fueled with LSD, his family could grab onto and believe in.
Again, it's not the do believe in.
Okay.
The Bible told of locusts, which Charlie spun to be the Beatles.
That's a fucking stretch, isn't it?
They're bugs, aren't they?
I suppose so.
It told of a race war where blacks took over, but couldn't manage the world once they had it. And it told of another group that were 144,000 strong that went into hiding in the holes in the earth at
In the bottom
Barker,
of the Death Valley.
at Barker Ranch. And when the time came, the 144,000 would come out of the hole and they would take over as supreme leaders because...
Oh, on the watchtower.
Exactly.
I like the Dylan version better.
It's pretty great.
That was spot on.
Yeah.
That deserves applause. The song Never Learn Not to Love tanked.
Obviously, look at the fucking name of that song.
It's pretty bad.
Okay, never know not to love, okay?
I never learned not to love.
What would it sound like if Dylan sang it?
No, I love.
Fucking number one hit. That's going platinum.
Charlie finally heard the Beach Boys version of this song. He was fucking furious with
He was
Wilson.
like, yay, I love it. Yay. Awesome.
Let's do another.
Oh,
No, he was furious with Wilson because in the beginning of all of this, he told Wilson, if you need to, you can change the music, but do not change my lyrics. Which was the first thing that the Beach Boys did, was change the lyrics to the song and the title. Not only that, Wilson had taken full credit for this. He didn't put Charlie as a writer or anything on any.
Motherfucker ate up $100,000, so.
That's exactly how Wilson felt. That's exactly.
Suck it, man.
Two of Wilson's cars. Now, it didn't tell me until later that they had wrecked another of Wilson's cars. So
there was the roll.
He actually has.
Wasn't a Italian car, Ferrari? It was a Ferrari.
A Fiat?
What?
No, a Ferrari.
A Fiat?
Ferrari.
No, not that kind of Italian car.
But because Wilson was Charlie's ticket to Melcher, Charlie had to act like nothing was wrong.
I love that had to kill him inside.
Melcher, so I'm going to kind of go over this really as fast as I can. Melcher was in a debacle because his stepdad had died, and it turns out, so Terry Melcher's mom was Doris Day.
You don't say, Doris Day.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out that her husband, before he passed away, Doris Day had placed all of the financial stuff in his hands, and she thought that she had money because, it's a Melcher and Doris Day. Well, him and a business partner were squandering all of this money. So Doris Day was actually fucking bankrupt. So Terry is doing everything that he can to try and get his mom out of this situation and stay in the spotlight of who society believed her to be. So he goes into hiding basically for like 5 years. So Melcher never ends up listening to any of Charlie's stuff, and
he missed out on zero things.
He melched on it.
Yeah, but
is that where they came from?
At this time, Melcher and Bergen actually decided that they were going to move out of the house on Cielo Drive, but they didn't tell anyone except for super close friends. So Jacobson and Wilson knew, and then parents knew, but nobody else knew that Melcher had left this house.
They pulled it in Wilson and they just ghosted.
Exactly, but
they got Manson.
Nobody actually ever did find out where
they
Melcher
got Manson, and somebody else got Manson.
Yeah, somebody's about ready to.
At the time that Melcher was moving, Charlie actually decided, fuck George Spahn, I'm moving the family back to the ranch anyway. So he moved back to Spahn Ranch and gave up the house. Charlie also started teaching the family desert survival and how to use weapons. They planned an exact route from Spawn Ranch to Barker Ranch, and they started building dune buggies.
There we go.
Yes. They opened a bar called Helter Skelter and had to shut it down because
Copyright shit?
No, they were running this without a business license. So George Spawn actually got fined $1,500, which pissed him the fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
And
Charlie trying to raise money, man, so he can get some guns, man, and they need all kinds of supplies, man.
Yeah. So in order to start getting money and supplies and all of this other stuff and guns and storage bins to put food and stuff in on this route from one ranch to the other, Charlie figured he had tried to sell the girls off, basically. So there was that whorehouse that we talked about in the beginning, but his friend was going to want a cut of that money, so it wasn't going to bring in enough. Plus, there was transportation to and from where they needed to be. And then he also tried to get them hired on as strippers, but they were all flat-chested, so nobody wanted him to work in the strip clubs.
Nobody wants to Tanqueray, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Charlie had to resort to selling drugs. He tried with Hell's Angels. Thank you. I couldn't think of the name.
But
Hell's
Angels. We ain't gonna
Angels.
take these bitches. Ain't none got any tits. What we doing?
Flapjack titties? Don't need them.
Well, you got skim milk in them titties?
Ain't got no titties, damn lamb.
Chris Rock.
Anyway,
All right,
we're going.
all right.
We're
Yeah,
moving
okay.
on.
I'm sorry.
Meanwhile, back at the
ranch. So the Hells Angels didn't want anything to do with Charlie. They were making a name for themselves, and he was this low level nothing. And they were like, "Go fuck yourself. We don't know."
Very low level.
Yeah, but he he was able to hook up with the straight Satans,
opposed to the homosexual Satans.
I guess. And to do this, they were helping him sell drugs.
They're straights instead of squares, man.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes
sense. The biker gang started spending a lot of time at the ranch, and at this time, Charlie had been really careful to keep racial slurs and his hate speeches to himself.
Good call, probably.
Yeah, because he's preaching free love, right? But the biker gang is not doing this, and they are calling every other race every derogatory slur that they possibly could, which is pissing the family off because that's not what they're about, right?
You mean like honky?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we're allowed to. Because it's not like Charlie's view of, black people are going to take over the world. Black people are going to take over the world, but they're not smart enough to run it after they do. Yeah, because that's not racist. But this guy is saying the N-word.
So Charlie had to explain to the family that in order to keep the bikers around, pretty soon he was going to have to start participating in this stuff as well. But
I'm not really a racist. I'm just saying it to fit in.
Yeah, this is all an act. This is all an act.
Peer pressure, man. It was the peer pressure.
Hey, I'm the JC, man. You got to listen to me, okay? I know what's going on.
I'm just trying to keep the peace with the folks around me.
He also explained to the family that the only thing that he saw was that races shouldn't mix because human beings are a garden, and if all of the flowers germinate together, eventually they will only be one kind of flower, right? So that was his way of describing his views without seeming racist.
Isn't that the definition? I mean, basically,
one love. Let's
seems like the I'm not racist. I just think that all races should stick to themselves. What?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't mind if you sleep with the other racists. You just gotta let them put them in the butt because you can't.
Let's go. Let's go with that old Bible loophole.
The poop tank hooray is only for the white people.
Oh my God.
So the bikers also started causing other problems with the family because bikers, the bikers, that particular group of bikers, they weren't
the non-homosexual Satan.
Yeah.
Straight Satans, yes.
Yeah, the straight Satans. They they didn't give a shit what kind of drugs that they were doing. And there were a few people in the group who really, really, really liked the extra drugs. So there was speed, and there was, all of these new drugs that are being introduced into
Cocaine!
It's the first time any of those girls had cocaine. They were like, I love this guy for giving me this sweet, sweet thing.
Yes. So Charlie knew that he was starting to lose control. And obviously when Charlie's frustrated, he goes into rages and he does stupid shit.
Like beating girls.
Like beating people. Except this time, he tried to beat up his number one follower, his disciple.
Well, Tex?
Tex. He tried to strangle Tex. And Tex decided that he was going to play Charlie's own game against him. So Tex actually stopped fighting him and just let Charlie do what he was doing, which caused Charlie to stop. And in this moment, Tex realized that Charlie wasn't free-loving after all, that Charlie actually wanted to kill people.
Yeah.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is my segue into where we start next time.
And by segue, she means cliffhanger.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Rocco needs some cocaine.
Yes.
Before we go, I did want to mention, you mentioned Blackbird, and I remember reading this portion. I think we've read the same book, I believe.
Uh-huh.
He said that Blackbird was the Beatles describing how the African Americans were going to take over the world.
Yes.
You ever heard the song Blackbird?
Yeah.
No, but he hadn't either. Not like through clear ears.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Jesus
So one of the
Christ.
things
He certainly was.
Charlie Manson. Wow.
One of the things that Charlie did for how he came about getting the direction that he was going to go in with these particular songs was he set everyone down with LSD and he would ask them their opinions on it, and then he would kind of steer it the way that, obviously, which is what he did with most things, but
yeah,
he was able to take
snippets
from each person's whatever and build this because everybody had chimed in on this as a group. So there was no way it was too far-fetched for this to really happen.
Till those damn bikers showed up with their nicotine, Valium, Vicodin, marijuana, ecstasy, and alcohol.
Yeah. Yes.
You're over, Charlie. Sorry, Charlie. That's where that came from. I don't know if you guys knew about that, but.
Sorry, Charlie.
Sorry, Charlie. You have no cocaine. Pussy.
Well, shit, pass the Poontangeray, man. All right. Matt, wrap it up.
Oh, shit. They probably should have. Poor kids with their fucked up names.
No wrapping it up. It's unnatural.
Oh, my goodness. Thanks, guys, for tuning in for another episode. Lindy kicked the shit out of this one again. That was fun. Yes. Should not tell us at the beginning to say whatever we want at any time we want to, like Zach does.
Tangeray!
But thanks for listening. So, yeah, rate. If you're going to, please do 5 stars. Say great things about Zach and how sweet he is and Todd and how much you love him. And Lindy's awesome. And I'm just the greatest thing ever. Just, anything. Or just say, fuck it. I like pizza rolls and fuck Sony.
Just real quick. So far, I'm the favorite. I just want you to know.
Well, that's okay. Boingy, 5 stars. I love Boingy. Boingy Boingy would be funny.
Yeah.
Or cocaine. 5 stars.
That's a rock, so I'm a rock and roll clown.
Or just even that'd be fine too. That'd be
You can give an exclamation point in 5 stars for all I give a shit. It'd just be great to see it. But anyway, so
I think there's a minimum of 4 words.
Yeah, crap.
Okay.
Just lots of exclamation points.
Then what does this have to do with gay porn? And maybe
that's dynamite right there. Yeah. There you go. That's a good one.
Right on.
That's what we're going to go with from now on. Yep, that's my favorite now. Okay. So tune in on our lives that we do on Facebook every Saturday, 7 p.m. Central. Because if you miss them, sometimes you can go back and watch them, and sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're dust in the wind, baby. Just gone.
Just depends on how many times I say fuck.
And on that, we will see you next Tuesday on Spar.
I'm Zach.
Lindy.
I am a meat popsicle.
Later.
Later.
It's evil! Don't touch it!
It's alive!
I was with you.
They're coming to get you by the power of Christ.
This is
Me?
Hello, Mr. Fancy